What's going on, everybody? Mic'd Up Mike back here again with another sports talk. Now, you may be asking, where's Jock? Because this channel is literally called Mic'd Up Mike and Jock. So, Jock has to be here. Unfortunately, Jock couldn't be here because it is his grandpa's birthday. So, make sure to comment happy birthday, Jock's grandpa. Or grandpa, or however you pronounce it. Or if you would like, you could DM us on Instagram and, write a heartfelt message. That would be preferred, actually, if you wrote a heartfelt message about Jock's grandpa. But besides that, you may also be asking, Mike, why is your face shaped so weird? I had gum surgery on Wednesday, so that's why I look like that. So for today, it's really only gonna be me and 21 Savage over here, who usually has nothing to say. But we're gonna jump right into it. So today's gonna be a very Zion-based episode, and we have a couple of questions. Honestly, the inspiration comes from my cousin Mitch. Shout out Mitch, thank you for the idea. But we're gonna jump right into it. So the first question basically goes a little bit something like this: Blake Griffin used to be an amazing player. He averaged about 13 dunks per game, according to my cousin Mitch. Shout out Mitch one more time. But Blake Griffin used to be an amazing player, and he used to be very athletic and all that stuff. But now he's in his like 10th or 11th season in the NBA, and he's declined fast. And he goes to 0 dunks per game. He's still a normal player in the league. Like, it's not a bad thing to have him. Well, I mean, unless you depend on him as your first option. But yeah, he's definitely not a first option anymore. He's not as athletic. So my cousin Mitch, shout out Mitch, is concerned about whether Zion's career is going to go down a similar path. So what I was thinking in terms of this topic was that Zion is a very good player. He's averaging 23.5 points per game this season, I think, which is like a point over what he did last year. So he was already dominant when he came into the league, even though he had that little injury in the beginning, so he couldn't really play. But the main thing about Zion is that I feel like he is getting a little bit lazy, but you could definitely work on that. If he could get that motivation back that he had, he could definitely do something. And what do I mean by do something? So most athletic players in the league end up having a shorter career than those who are like shooters, like 3-point shooters and all that stuff. And obviously that's because of the wear and tear, because athletic players, they go through so much more. They are way more injury prone than shooters and all that stuff. So it's a very higher chance that athletic player is going to have a shorter career than a shooter in the NBA. But athletic players have managed to adapt to this. So our example is LeBron James. LeBron James is one of the greatest to ever do it, honestly. Even though he's on the Lakers, he should have came to the Knicks, but whatever. I'm gonna, let it slide. So in the beginning of LeBron's career, he was, very athletic. He didn't really shoot like crazy on none of that stuff. But over time, as he became older, he started working on his three-pointer and, started working on that outside shot and all that stuff. And look, he's still doing great things. He's even better now, honestly. I feel like he's better than he was when he first entered the league, which is how it should be. But then we take, for example, Russ, who's dependent on his athletic abilities all this time. And obviously you could see that in this season, he's doing as bad as he was in his second season in the NBA. So he's clearly having a decline, unfortunately. Russ is clearly having a decline, unless he could have some sort of resurgence. But yeah, that kind of shows the difference. Like, you have to learn to adapt to the NBA, and also understand that, you're coming to a certain age where you have to let your body like relax when you're playing the game. Like, sure, when you're 20, 23, whatever, 24, 25, all that stuff, you could run, you could jump all you want. You have all the energy in the world. But biologically, your body deteriorates, and when you're like 30, 33, 34, 32, obviously you can't do the same things you were doing when you were 19, jumping out the gym or whatever, like all the time. So yeah, I feel like if Zion really put in the work to develop a three-pointer, he could really be one of the greatest in the league. Like Giannis, he's getting better at his three-pointer every year, and if he really gets it down to like 40%, I think it's over for the league. Honestly, I don't know what's even gonna happen. But yeah, so that's what I feel about Zion. If Zion could get some of that motivation back and work on that three-pointer, it's clipped. I'm telling you, it's clipped. I also wanted to talk about the comparisons between Zion and RJ. A lot of people are saying, like we're saying before, oh, the Knicks were going to get Zion, this, that, and RJ is not that good, whatever. I feel like RJ is really, coming out of his shell this season. I feel like he needs to be a little bit more efficient, but he's definitely doing really good. And honestly, I'm a little bit happier with RJ because Zion is a little bit unmotivated at the moment, as I said before. No hate to Zion though. I'm not saying that he's a bad player, and I'm like, he's still averaging like 23.5 points per game. I'm not saying that. But I feel like RJ has a very motivated mindset, and it looks like he's really, pushing to be really good. I'm telling you, all he has to do is work on his efficiency, and he'll be fine. They have like that one thing that's kind of dragging them down from being one of the best in the NBA. And for RJ, that's his efficiency for sure. If that could be fixed, though, it's gonna really help out the Knicks. It's really gonna help out his status, and Zion with that 3-pointer. So honestly, with the both of them, there's nothing to be compared yet because again they also have very different skill sets. RJ can shoot. RJ's athletic as well. Um, and Zion is also very athletic at the moment right now. He's also a little bit injury prone, but that's what he was last season. This season he's looking great in shape, all that stuff. So honestly, with that Zion RJ talk, there's not really much to talk about because there's no clear cut better player, and they just have different skill sets. So I feel like we give it a little bit more time. If Zion develops that motivation, it's over. It's really over. So yeah, I also want to talk about a topic that was hot in 2019 during the offseason. A lot of people were talking about, oh, Zion, KD, and Kyrie going to the Knicks. Uh, what I felt about that was at first, obviously, I was hype, and then when they went to the Brooklyn Nets on June 30th, I still remember the day. I think it was June 30th, but I think if I remember the day, then I'm lit. But the thing about that day, I was like distraught that KD and Kyrie didn't go to the Knicks and they went to the Nets instead. But I feel like in the end of the day, it's kind of good for the Knicks because the thing with KD and Kyrie is they're getting older. There's no question about it. So sure, if KD and Kyrie can win a championship this season or next season, then that's gonna be amazing. That means that the Nets definitely made the right move, especially with James Harden. That this is definitely a win or bust situation right now, because they're getting older. KD just coming off an Achilles tear, but he's still doing great. So there's no question he's also one of the greatest in the NBA. Kyrie's also a great player. Harden's also a great player. But a lot of Knicks fans were mad that we didn't get Zion, KD, and Kyrie. But I feel like that for the Knicks, it was actually important to figure out how to properly draft players and surround those drafted players with with players who are going to contribute as well to make a more solid foundation, because I feel like the Knicks are really headed in a really positive direction. They're improving heavily from 4-20 in the first 24 games last season to 11-13 or 10-13. I don't remember, that statistic was a couple of days ago. Like right now it's been a couple of games, but I'm saying that, what the hell was that? But they're definitely doing a lot better than they were last season and the season before that, all that stuff. So I feel like learning to really lay down that foundation, get the right coach, get the right players. Julius Randle was a great addition. I feel like that was more important for the Knicks, and I feel like that's why they didn't offer KD the max. So I feel like, honestly, although, yeah, it would have been nice to have KD and Kyrie and potentially contend for a championship, what after that? In 2 years, where would the Knicks be? Because we had no one else on our team, really. We wouldn't have Julius Randle, who's only 26, by the way. We would have RJ, but that would be it. We wouldn't really have anybody else on the team who's of value. And that would just not be good for our future. Like, sure, it'd be nice to have a championship, but I would rather have a team in about 5 years. Like 5 years from now, I honestly believe that the Knicks could contend for a championship. If they keep on developing and drafting the right players, hopefully Dallas continues to be bad so we could get a good draft pick and draft somebody good for our team. But I really feel like that's what's more important, laying down that foundation to win multiple championships in the future. Well, everybody's making jokes like, oh, the Knicks can't win a championship. They're probably mad tight about KD, Kyrie, and Zion not coming to the team. But it's okay, because we're laying down the foundation, and then in a couple of years, we're not just going to win one championship or two. We're going to win 5. You know what I'm saying? You can quote me on that. Unless it doesn't happen. But whatever. So I just wanted to end off the episode by talking about a team of the week. I feel like this is a really good segment to add on. Maybe Jock will agree with the segment implantation. But my team of the week this week is the Heat. Honestly, they've had a pretty bad start. Not gonna lie, I feel pretty bad for them because they just came out of the bubble and were in the finals. They were competing heavily with the Lakers, and then they end up going on this terrible losing streak. And I was watching both of those Knicks games against the Heat, so I really have to give them props though because you could see that they were really playing their heart out and they were playing defense like crazy. The Knicks versus Heat games were really intense, and like I was pretty tight because like there were a couple of missed calls. Like there was literally a play where the ball hit off Bam Adebayo's foot. But the thing is though that I feel like I have to give them props and I have to give them team of the week for this week because their defense is insane. I was watching that game. They were getting on RJ, Julius Randle. They were getting on everybody. They were hustling out there. Honestly, I give them big props. Jimmy Butler, amazing player, amazing player. I honestly don't know what happened to them this season. I don't know why they had such a poor start, but honestly, I really hope the best for them, and I really hope that they could come back to their bubble selves and maybe improve. But that's about it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, Jack couldn't make it to this video, but in the next one, we're going to have a Zoom call with him set up because I don't know if there's any birthdays next week, but I'm going to be out of town, so we're definitely going to have to set up a Zoom call. Um, but also, I want to make sure to hear from you guys, so make sure to comment, like, subscribe. I want you guys to tell me what I could improve on in these videos, what I could do better, what I could do worse. Maybe you want me to focus on just one topic in episode with Jock. Maybe you like this idea, maybe you like how I'm doing. But I really want to hear from you guys. And yeah, until next time. Peace out.